So my name's Lane, I'm the Business Development Manager at Urban Quest. I've been with the company for about 6 months, and obviously I'm here to try and help Urban Quest grow, but I spend most of my time talking to our clients and prospective customers and helping them understand what benefits Urban Quest can bring to their companies in terms of improving their team building, their problem solving, and their communication skills. Well, for me, Urban Quest is a race. It's not a physical race, but it's a race of the mind. And what it really focuses on is teamwork and being able to work as a team and communicate to get the best and fastest result possible. I think the main thing that Urban Quest is really about is team building in a fun environment. So Urban Quest is a problem-solving activity which really relates to a lot of corporate life, where you're dealing with problems and you're trying to solve those problems as a team. So a lot of our games are structured in a way where you're in a team and you're working through problems and you're having to work out the best strategy and approach to solve those problems as a team. So that's where you can draw out a lot of the learnings from Urban Quest into your corporate environment. So far I've participated in 3 Urban Quest events, and this was part of my onboarding and induction into the company. The very first one was an online event which a company allowed me to sit in with a team, and that was an interesting experience because I didn't know any of the people in that group, whereas by the end of that game I felt like I had built some bonds already with that group that I had no connection with previously. So that's a highlight of how Urban Quest can build your team culture and build connections within your team. The second event I ended up doing was the Docklands event, which is where you're going around Docklands and problem solving in groups. Now, I really found that to be enjoyable because I'm quite competitive, so really got my competitive juices flowing. Our team felt like we were kind of in the lead, or at least near the front, so we were kind of really motivated by that, and I guess it really drove us to work better as a group. And again, I had no previous connection with my group, and by the end of it we were having a drink at the post debrief and, you know, really kind of having a laugh together. So I found that the team bonding was a real benefit that I got out of that experience, as well as that competitive side, which I found quite enjoyable. The third event I was in was our kind of flagship event, which is our CBD route. And what I enjoyed about that again was the competitive side. But this also included our technology element, which I think increased the level of engagements of all the groups using augmented reality on their smartphones to unlock some of the clues in the game. So that was my experience with Urban Quest, but I guess my learnings from that were really, one, you need to think about how to work as a team and your overall strategy and how you can communicate as a group. But I really enjoyed the competitiveness and the adrenaline rush that comes from participating in the games. Another thing that really surprised me was the overall culture and team building, I guess, benefit. So because you're in small groups to start with, I kind of think you feel like maybe I'm just going to be spending time with that small group, but often the teams interact along the journey. There's often a lot of banter going back and forth between teams, I've found, which kind of builds that culture and bonding. But then at the end is where I really found the benefit, where you come together as a whole group and the results are read out and everyone has a laugh at certain aspects, and everyone's asking, what question did you get stuck on, or, you know, how did you work out this question? So there's a lot of kind of cross-pollination in that group setting at the end, which is where I think the real team building and culture benefits come from, not just the actual experience in the game itself. Yeah, so in addition to our normal Quest games and routes around Melbourne, we have some other packages that are really designed to enhance your team performance and culture overall. So one of those is the strategic debrief, which uses data to give you some deeper insights that are actionable around how your team interact and perform. So that's one. The other is more for groups that have a lot of new team members and they want to speed up the team bonding process, and that's our Team Activator product. So we have a few additional packages that allow you to cater to unique circumstances. So one of them is our Dull Breaker, which is really designed for a conference-based environment where you might want to have a team building experience or game where you're in small groups but in a seated conference setting, to just occupy an hour or so to freshen up everyone and get them away from the kind of dullness of a conference. The second one is more a contingency for, Melbourne throws up some bad weather sometimes, so those kind of days that aren't as nice, it's a completely indoors experience through some of Melbourne's most popular indoor shopping venues. It's the same kind of format with the same problem solving teamwork elements, but in a completely indoor environment. I think there's a few things that really make Urban Quest different. One is the technology. So it's a very tech-focused company, obviously using things like augmented reality. But things like the leaderboard are a great thing that really gets competitive juices flowing. A lot of the participants want to know where their group sits historically. They just don't want to win against their own company. They want to know, how did they compare against the best of all time? So that's something that really is unique and drives a lot of engagement. I think also the thought that goes into games, it's not just a game that's been kind of quickly pieced together. A lot of thought has gone into each of the questions, and certain questions are more tailored towards certain personality types. So some will stand out on one question, whereas others may stand out on another question. So that's where the team building and the teamwork dynamics really come into the game. But there's certainly been a lot of thought and strategy put into the design of our games. The first is probably having fun as a team, getting out of the office, having a laugh, all helps boost morale and improves the culture. I think it can also help you strategically as a team. Really think about how that can be kind of taken from a game format and applied in your company. Another one is assimilation of new people into your team. So it can really take strangers and help them build connections with other people in your overall team. And finally, a real big one is improving communication skills. So the teams that end up winning our events are the teams that learn how to communicate effectively, how they need to listen, how they need to ask good questions, how they need to be clear with their communication. And this is really transportable to your company and your corporate environment. The teams that are suited to Urban Quest events, one is teams that have maybe an influx of new people and you really want to spark up that connection and team building aspect. Two are those that really want to lift their level of performance in terms of their teamwork, their problem solving, their communication skills. That's what Urban Quest is all about. So if you're a team that wants to really be a high performing team, it's a great fun event that can really deliver those benefits. And three, sometimes we have just groups that have had a milestone, they've been working really hard towards a goal and they just want to celebrate. And they can still enjoy the team building benefits, but have a great time in the process as a reward for all their hard work. So if you're interested in an Urban Quest event, we'd love to chat. You can reach out to me at any time and we'd be pleased to put on a great event for you.